Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street, in person back here at the NASDAQ market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators, bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go. Tonix Pharmaceuticals is researching and developing promising treatments for some diseases that have unmet needs, and this does include monkeypox, which has been getting a lot of attention lately. And with me is the CEO, Seth Lederman of Tonix Pharmaceuticals, and welcome, Seth. And the WHO just recently declared this a global emergency, monkeypox, and you are working on developing a vaccine for this. So tell me, where does that stand?
First, thanks for having me on, Jane. It's great to see you again. Monkeypox is a big problem. There are over 17,000 cases outside of Africa, and this has all just started since May. Roughly, monkeypox looks like it's doubling each week outside of Africa. So it is a very big problem, and we're glad that the Secretary General of the WHO declared it a public health emergency of international significance.
And your company is working on a vaccine, so where in the approval of that vaccine does that stand?
Right, we've been working on a monkeypox vaccine for 10 years, so we were prepared for this. We think that monkeypox has been overlooked in Africa. Basically what happened is when everyone was being vaccinated for smallpox, monkeypox was kept out of the human population because smallpox and monkeypox are very similar.
Interesting.
So if you're vaccinated against smallpox, you're protected against monkeypox. When we stopped vaccinating people after the eradication of smallpox, an unforeseen consequence was that monkeypox would re-enter the population. So it's been a problem in Africa for several years that's been overlooked, but now it's spreading outside of Africa and growing very quickly.
Interesting.
Right now, it seems to be concentrated in MSM, men who have sex with men, and it's a astonishing concentration given that it's infectious and it's not a sexually transmitted disease. So we and many experts believe that unfortunately it will very likely get into the general population relatively soon.
Yeah, and of course we've talked about COVID vaccines in the past as well, and the White House recently launched an effort to make these vaccines more durable. I mean, we've seen so many people who have been vaccinated and even boosted getting COVID. So, I mean, you have been working on this vaccine for, I think, ever since we first heard about COVID. Where does that stand with you?
Well, we're obviously disappointed that the vaccines are not performing better. We, like everyone else, hope that they would perform better. But we also never stopped our work, because right from the beginning, in conversations with you, we've warned that the vaccines did not have durable protection and they didn't block forward transmission. So we've been busily working on our vaccine, and we're delighted that the White House is now recognizing that we need probably something like another Operation Warp Speed to come up with new ideas and new technologies. Because, for example, the President Biden's senior advisor in this said, we really need a breakthrough at this point. And by breakthrough, what he was referring to is we need new vaccine technologies that are fundamentally different. And Tonix has been working on a live virus vaccine that we believe provides more durable protection and has the potential to block forward transmission.
Yeah, and it seems like the COVID vaccines were successful in terms of, I think, of keeping people out of the hospital, or at least reducing those numbers, which was not insignificant, but something to really prevent the spread, I think, would certainly be helpful.
But not insignificant, but also, unfortunately, the hospitalizations and deaths are rising with the new BA.5 strain. So even that amount of protection seems to be wearing out. But the COVID problem is affecting all aspects of our society. It's contributing to the supply chain disruptions. Yeah. It's contributing to the delays at the airports, and generally, a major drag on our economy.
Sure.
So we really have to get moving and get better vaccines discovered, developed, and deployed to get the economy really back up and to save lives.
It's been an unbelievable thing to live through. Okay, so you recently had a ribbon cutting ceremony for your Advanced Development Center. So this is in Massachusetts, correct? So explain what kind of work you'll be doing there.
This facility is purpose-built to manufacture clinical trial supplies of our live virus vaccines for monkeypox and for COVID. So it was a very complex facility, and we built it during the pandemic with all of the supply chain interruptions, and we completed it in just about a year. We had a very exciting ribbon cutting ceremony in June, and we're up and running, and this will really facilitate our work. In addition to the vaccines that we're working on, monkeypox and COVID, we're gearing up to be responsive to President Biden's AP3, which stands for American Pandemic Preparedness Plan, so that we believe we'll be able to make live virus vaccines to new pathogens within 100 days of identifying the sequence.
Wow. That's amazing. That would be great, because it does feel like more of these things are popping up for whatever reason. So to have kind of some of that work already in the pipeline could be huge. So thank you so much, Seth, for coming back. Always interesting.
Thank you for having me on, Jane.
I have a question for you. Are you talking about your company, or are you being talked about? The internet is full of business owners that want your clients. So now imagine if the competition you have now becomes irrelevant. Imagine you didn't have to fight for clients because they are all coming to you. How would that change your business? This could be your reality, because that's what we do. We help you get the credibility that you deserve. My name is Rhonda Swan. I'm the founder and CEO of the Unstoppable Branding Agency. If you think you qualify to work with us, message me and apply today, and click on the link in this video. I look forward to meeting you. Don't forget to be unstoppable and stay wild.
Glint has developed proprietary technology that enables everyone to buy gold. Gold that's stored in Brink's vaults, insured by Lloyd's of London. With Glint's app and debit card, peace of mind is just a few taps away. It's easy to protect your hard-earned savings, and there are no minimums, hidden fees, or financial advisors required. To learn how to safeguard your future, go to glintpay.com or download Glint from your favorite app store.
PetVivo is developing a disruptive tool to manage osteoarthritis in horses, cats, and dogs. And with me is the CEO, John Ghiai, to explain where you're at. I know you've had a lot of recent developments, including a lot of kind of executive appointments lately that have seemed to really kind of jumpstart the company and done a lot. So bring me up to date.
Well, thank you. So the first thing is we signed a exclusive distribution agreement with MWI Animal Health. They're a wholly owned subsidiary of AmerisourceBergen, very large corporation. They do about $5 billion a year in veterinary sales in North America. And the agreement is not just for distribution. It actually has multiple components. One is the educational aspect to the veterinary doctors. They have a division called Sekur. So we'll be working on a whole series of educational videos and informational videos to the veterinary doctors on how to look at osteoarthritis differently than what they learned in veterinary school. Because in veterinary school, when they learn that you'd make a diagnosis of osteoarthritis, is that it's a lifetime of NSAIDs and other types of treatments that are targeted at more symptomatic issues, while our product is unique in the sense it's an intra-articular injection that treats the root cause of osteoarthritis, which is the bone-on-bone contact and wearing away. So once we get that message out there, it will really help drive the sales team. Internally, we had 4 salespeople, and they were all very seasoned, 25 plus years, managing hundreds of salespeople. And the intent is to convert them into manufacturer's rep, because MWI has 400 territorial managers and 300 in-house salespeople. So we'll be supporting and educating those people as part of training. So, and they do business with at least probably 90% of all the vets in the United States.
Yeah, that's a real game-changing partnership that you have with them.
Yeah, so it's a promotional, it's a true partnership. It's not just a distribution.
Yeah, and then now you have a new national sales manager, Mark, who I've talked to.
Mark Middleton, yeah, he's been with us since September, and he's been building up that team, and he was instrumental in getting us MWI because he had a really good working relationship with the business development people at MWI, and he knows a lot of the regional or territorial sales managers.
Yeah, we had a lot of background and experience in this industry.
Yeah, if you look at our team, the years of experience is probably close to 200 years, which is kind of, it makes everybody feel old, but I mean, our marketing director comes from Zoetis in Birmingham and Ingerheim. He's got 35 years in senior level management at that company, and then you got Mark with 35 plus years, and Cliff, our regional sales rep's got 35, Doug Gregory, and then Rachel, 25, 30 years. So the team is quite seasoned and experienced. So we're not reinventing the wheel, and we have made all the mistakes over the years. So it's been a really smooth transition into this partnership.
Well, and I feel like this is an industry too, and I think you and I have talked about this, that's very relationship driven.
Absolutely.
And so that experience helps with that. So.
Very much. And then now having the MWI reps out there that already have relationships set up with these vets, them bringing in the product, but not only the product, the educational support behind it will really help them. And then as on our website, you'll see we have several trials that are coming to fruition that will help support the marketing and the evidence of efficacy for the small animals. Because the ethos study should be done 3rd week of October of this year. It's way ahead of schedule, which is good.
So tell me about that study. That study you expect to tell you what?
So we're going to show that there's an improvement using our product versus a competitor's product, and we will be able to show, and I think from real world experience that we have seen, because we have injected over 1,000 dogs and horses, that'll be significant. Because generally, when you're doing a trial, if you show 5, 6, 7% improvement, it's considered very successful. I think we're going to see that our improvement's in the 90-some percentile. So that's why I say it's a very disruptive tool in the management of osteoarthritis and other joint afflictions too.
Well, now's a good time to tell us about the product. What exactly is it and how does it work?
Sure. So we developed a protein particle matrix that mimics cartilage and tissue. It's naturally derived, so the base proteins, the 2 of them are collagen and elastin, and then the carbohydrate is heparin that we use. And we created a method where the matrix, it forms a matrix, and once it's injected into the joint, it actually forms a scaffolding. So there's improvement of that joint over time. Unlike other treatments, which is very short term, they inject, they got to redo the injection 30, 45 days, and it's more masking the symptom. So these particles are really wet and lubricious. So think about the more movement the dog has, it's actually cooling down the joint, because the lubrication is continually lubing the joint like cartilage would have done if you have healthy cartilage.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And right now it's horses and dogs and cats.
Horses, dogs, and we will be bringing the cat product on. And recently, an exotic bird vet injected the first cockatoo because they lived like 90 years or 85, 90 years. If you have a bad leg, that's pretty bad. This is only 2 legs in a cockatoo, so he injected it, and I think the bird's doing well. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the reports have been pretty good. So we're getting a lot of strange animals that vets are using it on to help, the quality of life. We have a manatee that got injected.
And I believe there was a tiger too. You told me.
Yeah.
Once, right?
2 white Siberian tigers.
Okay,
Yeah. Seattle Zoo that are doing phenomenal. So it'll be interesting if we decide to do a TikTok video with the tiger.
That's a great marketing idea.
I know.
Actually.
I know.
So, and you started a nonprofit too.
Correct. It's called PetVivoCares.org. So it's targeted to donate product to nonprofits that are out there helping people and animals. So, we've been contacted by some horse rescues that are used to help children with autism, because the studies have shown when they ride horses, they're actually able to communicate better and function much better in society. It makes them feel comfortable and so on. So I think that study was done at Utah State.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be one of our first donations. We set aside 500 syringes, and we're telling worthy nonprofits to submit their application and explain why and what they're doing to help people and animals, and then we'll be donating it out. And that also provides an opportunity for passionate people about animals to see the success of the product. And it also gives us access to volunteer veterinary doctors that we may not get to right away, but they'll be able to use the product and see the success and improvement of the animal. And so we're excited about that program. I brought in a really good director to run it, Scott Harold. He's run a lot of nonprofits very successfully, and for fun, and he's donated a lot of money to a lot of good organizations.
Yeah. Well, let's do another interview after you get the results in October.
Sure.
That would be a great, update to everything. So thank you so much.
Perfect.
Come back in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. I founded my company based on the belief of partnerships. If we didn't have partnerships and trust and relationships, nothing would move forward. We really like to get to know the core of the client. We want to know who we're working with. We believe in a story, and that's why we call ourselves a story time lender. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
SKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SKUR. Visit SKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Verde Bio Holdings is a mineral acquisition management company with acquisition experience in several different parts of the U.S. And with me is the CEO, Scott Cox, to talk about this very unique business model. So just start with what the company is all about.
Well, first off, thank you for having me. So Verde Bio is first and foremost an oil and gas company, but we've got a unique business plan where we acquire minerals and the associated royalties under producing wells across the various basins of the United States. And our goal is to build a really nice balanced portfolio of natural gas and oil at good prices.
And this is a very unique business model. I didn't even know this business existed, that you could buy the minerals. So another oil company, a driller or explorer or whatever, takes over that land, and then you come in and...
Yeah, what we like to think of it as is shared reserves but not expenses. So when they come in and drill on our minerals, we have no cost associated with that well. We simply get the mailbox money later on after it's producing.
Yeah, so there are some other companies in this space. I'm not super aware with them. Tell me about the competitors who's in this.
So typically, we don't have a lot of competition where we are right now. There are much larger companies that do what we do. However, we are unique in that we kind of have a grassroots efforts when it comes to acquiring these things. We like to acquire, if we can, straight from the landowner. And therefore, when we compare it against the much larger companies, they have a large investment thesis where they can't look at things, you know, below a certain amount per month. Well, we think of ourselves as an aggregator where we'll basically look at anything as far as size goes, and if it will help the portfolio and it adds value, we don't really care what size it is. And so we're not, the key differentiator there is that we're not controlled by a strict investment thesis.
Okay, and of course, I'm sure you're well aware, energy, fossil fuels has been, I think, maybe the only sector of the economy that's done well this year.
Yes.
I mean, explain, like, you're in the industry, what do you see? You have benefited from that, I assume?
Yes, so because of what we own, we actually get the benefit of the rise in commodity prices without any additional expense to the company. So if we were, you know, our checks that we receive have gone up proportionately with the markets. I do believe that I don't think it's sustainable at these prices. I think they'll come down, but ultimately, yes, we like the rise in the prices. It's not good for the overall economy, but it's good for us as a company. And it does stimulate growth and development in our properties. Right now, we've got, you know, we've received notice of over 18 new wells being drilled, and another 15 being brought online soon. And so, you know, we do value the rise in it, and it's ultimately kind of what we hope for in the cycles of our investments.
So that's really interesting because people are drilling more because of the prices. There's an incentive now to do that.
There is.
Does that help with acquisitions?
It makes it a little tougher on acquisitions.
Oh, really?
So because the prices are higher, the demand gets more for these types of deals. And so we've got to be a little more picky, a little more careful in what we buy. We might not take a lot of deals that we normally would in a low-priced environment because, you know, when we look at things at these types of prices, we're buying at basically the top. So we've got to make sure that you've got a good active operator, well-funded operator, and that there's essentially some growth and development to continue on it. Otherwise, you're buying a dying price.
Interesting. So talk to me about the acquisitions you have made and future acquisitions that you're looking at.
So to date, we've made, I believe, 18 different acquisitions across 7 states in all of the major basins. Okay. We've got stuff in the Marcellus and the Utica, the Haynesville Shale, the DJ Basin of Colorado, the Permian Basin of Texas, and just kind of all over the place. And ultimately, we're, like I said before, our goal is to build a nice, balanced portfolio of good producing assets. And we're going to continue to make those acquisitions. We're not finished. We're going to continue to grow the company and build a portfolio as opportunistically as we can. And we're going to manage that portfolio. And that's another differentiator with us, is that we don't have any prescribed hold times on these things. If we have an asset that's not doing well, we'll divest it and reinvest the money.
Okay, and also some of your effort is going into marketing, so which is what brought you here today.
Yes.
For New to the Street and also investment relations. So talk about that part of the business.
Yes, so you know, our goal is to really get the story out there. And like you said, a lot of people don't even know that this subsector exists in the oil and gas markets. And so we found it difficult to really get the story out to people and let them understand that they can be in oil and gas, but they don't have to be with an operator. They can have exposure to those markets without exposure to huge debts and things like that in these massive companies. And so, you know, that's our key, is that we want to get the story out that we are an oil and gas company, but we're a very low risk oil and gas company, and ultimately build a good shareholder base and continue to grow the company.
And talk about your growth plan. Is there a chance for an uplisting?
Yes, we are exploring an uplisting. We believe that that's the way that we can truly unlock the value in the company and the stock. And I think it will continue just to open up more opportunities for the company.
Yeah, okay, Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Glint has developed proprietary technology that enables everyone to buy gold. Gold that's stored in Brink's vaults, insured by Lloyd's of London. With Glint's app and debit card, peace of mind is just a few taps away. It's easy to protect your hard-earned savings, and there are no minimums, hidden fees, or financial advisors required. To learn how to safeguard your future, go to glintpay.com or download Glint from your favorite app store.
Coastal Capital focuses on equipment-based lending, lines of credit, and working capital. I founded my company based on the belief of partnerships. If we didn't have partnerships and trust and relationships, nothing would move forward. We really like to get to know the core of the client. We want to know who we're working with. We believe in a story, and that's why we call ourselves a story time lender. Coastal Capital is financing you can trust.
HCM Staffing and Consulting is working with companies to build more diverse workforces. And with me is the current CEO, global CEO and chairman, Eddie Bright Jr. And you've got with you Valarie Mackey, who is the CEO of RightNow Solutions. And then also Yvette, who is the Chief Diversity Officer of your Invisibility Group. So, all right, so Eddie, let's start with you. So HCM Consulting is the overall kind of umbrella group of all these. So just give me a brief overview of what HCM is all about.
And Jane, first of all, thank you for having us today. HCM Staffing and Consulting Group is a holistic suite of services within talent development, staffing. When we think about disability, Yvette brings that zone of genius within the disabled space. Valarie has not only executive coaching, but upskilling, reskilling. So it's a holistic suite of services within talent development, just in the delivery of talent, the growth of talent, the development of talent, the retention of talent. And what we're looking to do is create what's called positive attrition, where companies look at talent and they're able to say how they're able to grow it up and to spread it out within their ecosystems. And then obviously there's an accentuation towards diversity. Yeah. Because companies are realizing more than ever that companies that are truly diverse enjoy that 30 to 40% profitability. Right. And we're able to provide that for many of our client partners.
So that's what I was gonna ask. What has your data shown about diverse workforces?
Valarie?
So we have seen that it is an increase in innovation. So if you think about, you have people from all these diverse perspectives, so different colleges, and diversity is so many things, right? So the colleges, what many people may call top tier colleges and next tier colleges, technical community colleges, and you have people that are career changers. So when you put all these people together with all these different experiences, like Eddie said, when you have that innovation, 30 to 40% an increase in profitability is what we see, because we're able to innovate in a different way, because there's so many things that people think about when you bring all those brains together, right?
No, that's a good point. The diversity is a lot of things. I mean, where you grew up and what your skill set is and all of that. So Yvette, talk to me about what you're doing and what are you bringing to the table?
Well, for the most part, we offer resources not just for organizations, but for individuals who are in the area of high tier talent, who are looking for opportunities, but unfortunately, they look different. And so in our space, what we're doing is making sure that those stats, like the Harvard Business Review, that says that only 14% of even high performing companies don't include disability in their diversity, market. So what we're doing is we're bringing in diversity, not just diversity in a physical, invisible or non-invisible way, but diversity of thought. Right, and so we are making sure that they understand that diversity doesn't cost the company more, but it provides a platform for additional services, as you mentioned, because we have different brains and because we are also your consumers and clients. So we can see things differently as we are maybe differently abled, or we can do a lot more with recruitment and retention in those areas within the company itself.
What have you found like companies are surprised by or maybe didn't think about? Like, what are some things that you can shed light to these companies on?
Very good question. A lot of companies believe that it's really expensive to provide ergonomics and opportunities and entrance into their physical building. So there's architectural barriers and there's attitudinal barriers. So what I do is I go in and I do audits, if you will, to see if there's a cultivated culture for all abilities and that we are looking at the company as a whole for inclusion. So they believe sometimes the talent doesn't exist in the people group that consider themselves disabled, but it's the largest people group in the country. 1 in every 4 individuals have a disability, whether it be visible, like myself, or invisible. Yeah. So it's a market that is untouched and is a talent that is not used.
Yeah, very interesting. So, and Eddie, do you work mainly with HR departments, or how does the process work?
Surprisingly, because within the staffing space, we provide talent within IT, accounting, finance, HR, and procurement. So many times you're dealing with the procurement department. Many times, as you know, organizations have master service providers that you've got to go through them to provide talent. Many times it is the HR department. Many times it's the chief diversity officer that will be the entry point. And Jane, I'll add that this is something that's really critical right now. Generation Z, which is the upcoming generation, 48% of them are minorities or immigrants. 48%. And then the other thing that we have to be conscious of, if you wrap it all together, is that there are 5 different generations in the workforce right now.
That's right, yeah.
It's not just baby boomers like myself or other, and there's different, as we've said repeatedly, different trains of thought. And especially, America is the largest consumers in the world. So most of the services we provide are for consumers. So we've got to be able to relate to that. And we've got to be able to grow up that generation. And we've got to be able to, as Yvette has said so eloquently, look at others that we're overlooking because there's opportunity there. I think America has a big push to work with our own, meaning our own communities, instead of outsourcing as much as we have in the past. And Valarie's zone of genius with RightNow and being able to upskill and reskill is really amazing. It's just amazing how companies are saying, hey, you know what? Why don't you guys train 30 people in IT, cybersecurity, and we'll bring them in as consultants of a sort. And the ones we like, we'll make full-time employees. These people are now reinvented. They're obviously making more. They're able to have more impact in their communities and in their families. And it's transformational type work that we think we're doing.
Well, Valarie, talk to me about what kind of skills are these companies looking for?
Yeah, so we work a lot with the company. So first of all, we work with them on what is on your roadmap, what are your priorities, and even what are your employee insight surveys saying. And so based on that, we'll figure out what is going to be most helpful for that company. So it may be that they're going towards cloud engineering. And so now they're moving away, and they used to have database administrators. Well, instead of restructuring those folks out, they can upskill those people within their organization. And you can think about the amount of money that you save of, instead of having to bring someone brand new into the organization, you reskill people in your own organization that know what you do, know your culture, and then you actually show that you are investing in them. When you take people out of the company, you have to spend pretty much their whole salary plus the new salary to get them in. About 33% of a salary and get a new person in is spent on advertisement costs, interviewing, posting jobs, and so forth. The other 66% is spent on intangibles, like getting that person up to speed on the company, loss of productivity for the people that are helping that person come up to speed, them, coming up to speed. So if you think about the upskilling and reskilling, so you get that person trained, it's about $10,000. For an internal person to just actually take that new job. So you save so much money, right? You hit the bottom line. Or like we do these boot camp type of programs that look into the community and say, who's a career changer? Who are veterans? Who are people that may not have had access to a 4-year degree? And let's run a program that takes 4 or 5 months to get them skilled up to be a cloud engineer or a cybersecurity person. And when you bring them in, you double their salary, double or triple the salary that they have. It's a benefit to the person, to the economy, and to the company, because again, you get to save money in bringing people in. Instead of outsourcing it, instead of going for the high price consultant, you actually get to bring a new person in.
Very interesting. Okay, thank you so much, Eddie and Valarie and Yvette, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland. using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
And we were back with Alain Ghiai, the CEO of Sekur, which is a company that provides secure messaging, email, and a place of time when all of our data seems to be shared and sold. So, Alain, welcome. And it sounds like there's a lot of people who are receptive to what you're offering.
Yes, hi Jane, and hi to all our viewers out there. We're very excited because we just announced our Q2 report, and the sales are up 1,140%, plus 1,140% up compared to a year ago in Q2. You may recall that a year ago we started sales and our launch officially in July in 2021, and I have to say that the last So April and March were a little bit iffy month. You know, there was a market that was crashing, but I think it has to do more with a tax season and a lot of talk about recession, but there's no recession on our end because after Q2 was announced, we realized July was our best month ever in the company. And so far, August, and again, it's just mid-August right now, but we're tracking a 40% increase from July. So there's definitely traction, and we're very excited to see that all the effort that everybody put, you know, our team, the shareholder for finance, the company, is starting to show that this thing is starting to have some meat on the bone, as they say.
Yeah, no, it takes a while to kind of get people's attention. And it's really always all about the product. It comes down to the product and having a product that provides a good service and a needed service. And I think a lot of people are very nervous about their data lately.
Yeah. And, you know, there's a lot of hacking. You know, everybody knows, or whoever is watching us for the first time, we have a product called Sekur, which stores everything only in Switzerland. We don't use third-party hosting platforms like the big tech. We don't data mine you. So there's a level of privacy. Our entire culture is privacy, how we develop the product, you know, what we can access and cannot access. So, and the solutions offer privacy tool like Secure Send, Secure Reply, or Chat by Invite. We also announced, as you may know, that we just increased our Chat by Invite countries from 25 countries to 61 countries, covering 3.5 billion people. So if you use Secure Messenger as a business or a person, and you want to chat with somebody else without having to send everything through text or WhatsApp or Signal, you can send them an SMS with a link to chat with you. And now it's valid in 61 countries, including most of Asia, India, most of Europe, most of Latin America. So we're pretty excited about this kind of achievement. We're seeing a lot of potential coming in the coming month.
Yeah. Well, now, do you happen to notice trends like going for your projections for the rest of the year? Is the fall typically a busier time?
Yes, so we have a guideline for the end of the year. You have to understand, we're just a micro startup. Yeah. In 2020, we had $20,000 of sale. 2021 was 140. I mean, Q2 was almost what we did for all of last year. So I'm going to say that I'm comfortable between $400,000 to $500,000 this year, which would be still a 200% increase from last year. And for 2023, if things stand the way they are with our existing funds, then we're looking at least a 200% to 300% up from the end of this year. So we're on track with our numbers. We predict profitability operationally by the end of Q1 of next year. And we have about roughly $4.5 to $5 million US. I think it's $4.5 million US in the bank, plenty of cash to take us to that level, and no debt.
Mm-hmm. And so the sales are up. How does that translate in terms of revenue and just the finances of the company?
I think, so the revenues are still sub $1 million, but basically By the end of the year, if we tack on to $400,000 or $500,000 on a yearly annual and double that, actually triple that for 2023, we are on track to be profitable by March of 2023.
Okay.
So, you know, if we do $1,100 this year compared to last year, I'd love to do another $1,100 next year, 1,100%, sorry. But I think for Q2 of next year, we can probably expect at least a 200% increase from this year, which is still amazing, right? So the numbers are stacking now. Now it's like cumulative. And that's, of course, with our existing cash in the bank, not counting any offering or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. And then I know we had talked about a track for an IPO. What is there a new timetable for that?
Yes, so that's why I mentioned all these numbers are with existing cash. So the uplisting to NASDAQ is on track for being filed. I cannot give you a tremendous amount of detail, and the more we get into it, the more I'm going to have to basically not say much anymore. But the way we're looking at it is that we're looking at reducing our client acquisition cost to a level that once the listing happens and we get the funding that, you know, I've been going to New York a lot, I've been lining up a lot of funding and getting these, you know, verbal commitments, very firm commitments. I believe that once we close that, we can acquire about 200,000 users within 18 months, which would translate to $25 million in annual revenues with a profitability of $23 million in net profit. So it's going to completely change the company in terms of numbers and, of course, valuation. Right now, we've proven the model. We're increasing. We can organically grow and become profitable. With an extra financing, it will be fuel that will, it's like jet fuel that will propel it to, you know, a $25 million a year profit, which I'm sure you can calculate what the valuation would be on a SaaS model. So that will be a complete game changer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so just looking forward to the rest of the year and looking for more growth is basically where Sekur is right now as we head into the fall. And I remember you said you've been spending the summer kind of working on tech. So
yeah.
Maybe some products launched as well.
Yes, so we have the VPN that's going to be launched end of the year. We are launching our Secure Mail application in September. It's already launched, but we're working on our Android application. That'll be a great thing for people to have. We're noticing a lot of people buying the email accounts on its own. We're also noticing international sales, by the way. Today we had people from New Zealand. We have some European, you know, we have a lot of people from overseas that are getting to know the company. And we're also going to do an enterprise version of Secure Messenger for mass onboarding. Our Latin American division is talking to big enterprises and government entities, and they usually buy hundreds or thousands of licenses. So we're upgrading our entire system to that. Also for the email, that way we can go to SMBs. Starting the end of September, we're going to push small, medium businesses in the US. And going back to your previous question about a timeline on NASDAQ, now I want to have a full disclaimer that I don't have a crystal ball and we don't even know if we're going to be accepted. I just have to say that. But basically, if everything works according to plan, I would say in the next 6 months, we should get an approval if there's nothing huge going on and the timelines and their queues, etc. So I'm hoping by the end of the year. And of course, after that, things are going to be very different.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Alain. Congratulations on the stunning growth in sales.
Thank you. I want to thank all our subscribers, by the way. And if you're another subscriber and you want to subscribe, I'm going to give you a promo code. Use SEKUR15, SEKUR15, and try our product. Go to sekur.com. You get 1 week for free, and after that, you're charged. So well worth it if you want some privacy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland. using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
I have a question for you. Are you talking about your company, or are you being talked about? The internet is full of business owners that want your clients. So now imagine if the competition you have now becomes irrelevant. Imagine you didn't have to fight for clients because they are all coming to you. How would that change your business? This could be your reality, because that's what we do. We help you get the credibility that you deserve. My name is Rhonda Swan. I'm the founder and CEO of the Unstoppable Branding Agency. If you think you qualify to work with us, message me and apply today and click on the link in this video. I look forward to meeting you. Don't forget to be unstoppable and stay wild.
Welcome to Unstoppable Women Entrepreneurs. I'm Jane King. With me is Rhonda Swan, the co-host, who is also a women entrepreneur, unstoppable too, by the way. And we've got with us Courtney Murray, the founder of Coastal Capital. The company specializes in funding commercial business finance in the U.S. and is now focused on helping women in business grow their businesses as well. So welcome, Courtney. Great to see you. And
good to have you.
Tell us about, why did you start Coastal Capital?
Well, thank you, Jane and Rhonda, both for having me here. I'm very thankful to be here with you today. Coastal Capital was actually founded on two failed entrepreneurships. I'm a three-time entrepreneur, third-time successful. One of the things I found when I was an early entrepreneur is undercapitalization. And when you undercapitalize, you also start divvying into your personal credit. And when I started in equipment finance, I realized that there's another arm of finance that a lot of people are not educated on. And so I became very passionate very quickly. I knew I was an entrepreneur and I wanted to do things to change that. We're not brick and mortar all out there with commercial finance. We do asset-based lending, we do leases, we do everything from working capital to SBA loans. But I am big in heavy equipment space. So as you can imagine, I work with a lot of men, agriculture, construction, logging, nationwide. One of my passions is to help women, because one of the things I was undereducated, and I want to educate more women in the business to help them with their expansions and their building their empires.
I love that, Courtney. You know, you were sharing before, what is it that makes you different than most lenders? Because this is really a big thing that people need to know about.
Yeah, it is. So one of the things, like I said, in my early entrepreneurship, I had a couple credit glitches in my 20s, and banks don't find you financeable. And so one of the biggest things that sets us aside from our competitors is that we're not a credit-based lender. We do look at the history, but we really base it on the belief system internally that we want to stamp approvals on someone who is working within their business. They have a little bit of sweat equity. They have passion. We look at everything in outside of the box, such as, is the equipment a necessity or an accessory? How long have you been in the industry? What are the strong points? And so what sets us aside is really stamping that approval for someone that other people would not. We also don't commingle personal and business credit, and so we create a business credit line for other people instead of using their personal. So if they need to get a refinance on a home, they're not showed to the tied to the debt from their business. So
I love that. And you know, you just launched a book recently, so you talk so much about women entrepreneurship and being in agriculture and big farming equipment. You're starting to change that a bit. Is that due to the book that you've launched? Tell us more about what you want to do with women entrepreneurs.
Yes, and thank you, Rhonda. Rhonda was also co-author and the creator of the book, which has been an amazing journey. So when I first took the position to write a chapter, it really had to do with me personally just kind of breaking out and getting the word out for what we did. And then I found this other avenue, these women who are looking, maybe they've been in business 5 years or 10 years, and they have never utilized the right solution for the media, getting their equipment out there. Let's say you bought a big crane, or maybe you bought a medical laser that does something very spectacular, or you want to market it somehow. One of the things that we always tell our clients is keep your money in your pocket for opportunity costs. What is the opportunity cost? So with the book, I found so many other avenues opening up that I thought, why not open up a line for these women entrepreneurs that want to market what they're purchasing, keep the capital in their pocket, keep their credit intact. Let's build a business line and let's try to create it together.
Yeah, I love this story, Courtney.
Thank
By the way,
you.
I grew up on a farm.
Did you?
I've driven a combine, all these big equipment things.
I love it.
How expensive they could be. So
They are.
So what's next for Coastal Capital?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things that are running through my mind right now, but really what's next is I want to open up, we have recently started funding our own transactions internal, just with personal money, because we've had, success over the range of years. But what we really want to do is grow that personal box so we can start looking outside of the box, not asset-based lending. We want to look at some of the exposure, maybe even outside of the United States, and open up some, lines for these women who want to create and get their name out there. Because right now, borders don't, do us justice. We have a Facebook and Instagram and everything you could think of on social media. So we're looking to grow our business and our personal portfolio, and hopefully one day I have a lot of big plans. So
thank you so much, Courtney.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Unstoppable Woman Entrepreneur.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. Are you talking about your company, or are you being talked about? The internet is full of business owners that want your clients. So now imagine if the competition you have now becomes irrelevant. Imagine you didn't have to fight for clients because they are all coming to you. How would that change your business? This could be your reality, because that's what we do. We help you get the credibility that you deserve. My name is Rhonda Swan. I'm the founder and CEO of the Unstoppable Branding Agency. If you think you qualify to work with us, message me and apply today and click on the link in this video. I look forward to meeting you. Don't forget to be unstoppable and stay wild.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Welcome everyone to Secure Privacy and Security segment. I'm Anna Berry, along with Alain Ghiai, the CEO of Secure Private Data. Welcome, Alain.
Thanks. Welcome, Anna, and welcome to our viewer.
All right, so our weekly hack topic is going to be about this phishing campaign that's been targeting thousands of victims, impersonating major brands like FedEx, Microsoft, American Express, and Snapchat domains. They're tricking the victims, they're getting their information. So what can we do to help protect our data out there, Alain? What can we do?
Well, yeah, this is the season now, because if it's not shopping season on Christmas, now it's going to be people traveling. There's also a lot of things happening politically with the midterms. So any kind of information a hacker can get, they're going to trick you. And this was an open redirect, they call it, but there's so many technical ways. The whole thing, and I used to get those too from DHL, or sometimes you have PayPal and a lot of stuff like that. So what happens is when you receive an email, always check who it's from. So if you have conversations, political, personal, medical, anything that you want to email or chat with someone, do not use SMS, WhatsApp, your typical open tech email, because all those are being read legally. They're being cataloged, and two things will happen. Your content will be blocked, and also you'll be categorized as maybe a particular type of user, right? This is real. This is not science fiction. So what I would recommend is this. And it's like, we've had people that suddenly blasted to 50 people these, I'm going to say, political content or conservative views. And then what does it is it harms our domain, because the Microsoft complains, right? It's Microsoft or Google, and then we're red flagged. So what I recommend people to do is that if you want to talk about anything in the world, whether it's like, the next hamburger you had, all the way to what president you want to vote for, and if you're for this or for that, use Sekur with your friends. So let's say your friend doesn't have Sekur, use Sekur Send on the email, use chat by invite on Sekur Messenger. If not, if we all talk within the Sekur system, and it's cheap, and I can give you a promo code SEKUR15 to get 15% off, between you and your friends, family, whatever, nobody can look in, because if they all have Sekur, there's no red flagging of our domain, obviously. And it's important to know, because there's going to be elections, there's going to be midterm, and both political parties are looking to see what people are thinking. But there's definitely a more one leading political party, obviously, that wants to stay in power. This is true in any kind of election in the world. And they will put all the power they have in their hand to read your content, to manipulate you, to send you emails about stuff. So if you want to discuss anything that is private, I would recommend buy Sekur Messenger, have your friends do it, and that will guarantee you that you're all kind of in Switzerland and nobody can subpoena that data. I mean, unless you commit a crime that you're searched by Interpol and you kill people in Switzerland, nobody has the right to subpoena that data. On top of that, whatever you delete is deleted down to bare metal. We don't keep any of it. We don't store any metadata. We don't store your fingerprint or anything like that. We don't even store your log, and your IP address is not even recorded, because we scrape some of it in order to keep your anonymity. We just keep the location, because we have people from all over the world buying Sekur, and we want to give them the right currency to buy it in. So it's the most anonymous, the most private, and the most secure communication system you can have. And that's what I would recommend.
Well, there you have it. And that's what's becoming valuable these days, having confidential, private, secure conversations in the form of emailing your most precious data, or a simple conversation about how you view the political climate out there. And it's kind of sad that we've come to this, but luckily there are products like Sekur out there to help us keep our data private and secure. So as always, Alain, learning so much from you. Thank you so much for doing what you do. And we certainly hope our viewers are taking in this knowledge and changing their lifestyle when it comes to their data privacy.
Thank you. And I want to add one very last thing, because I don't want people to blast their network with our secure email. That will harm our domain. So if you have a list of people, in fact, we limit to 20 people at a time, because we're not a distribution platform. Make sure you use Sekur Send. Okay, go to sekur.com, watch the tutorial, or have them buy Sekur. And then within Sekur people, there's no limit to how many people you can send your material to, articles, etc. We've had this happen, and we have had to shut down these people's account because they're harming our domain. So be smart. You want to have a private conversation, get Sekur. And that's the only way you can do it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us again, Alain.
Thanks, Anna. Happy to be here, and see you all next week.